Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello and welcome back to the Psychlegal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm the therapist, Tess Brigham.
And I'm Brooke Brigham. I'm the attorney.
And this week we're back with Sister Wives, season 19, episode 4, How the Mighty Have Fallen. And Brooke, I just have one question for you.
Yes.
What did I do to deserve this? What did I do to deserve this betrayal?
Other than not loving these women.
Yes. Because that's the only thing that's the only thing I'm guilty of is not loving these women.
The only crime I'm guilty of is not falling madly in love with these women. Mm-hmm. I mean, the evolution of his explanation for
all of
this is just hit another level.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's hard. It's hard to watch because he doesn't get it.
No.
He really doesn't get anything. And he is so stuck in his ego around what is quote unquote fair or not fair. And I'm here to tell you something, Kody. When it comes to kids, nothing's fair. Nothing's fair. No. It's not fair. Parenting is not fair. It's not, this isn't about fairness. If parenting was quote unquote fair, then, things would be very much different. I would get leftover pizza if it was fair. I don't get leftover pizza because it gets all eaten because my kids can eat it. Like, that's not parenting. He doesn't quite understand what it means to be a parent.
Well, and here's my question. He talks about, I feel like he tries to lump all of the kids into this one, common enemy. They're all, but It seems to me, and I wrote something down, like towards the end of the episode, it seems to me like there is one, maybe two, maybe three. Like he says, one kid has said to me, "You're an asshole. I'm never talking to you again. You manipulated and brainwashed me." Who do you think that was?
I don't know. I think
it's either Garrison or Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
This would be my guess.
Yeah.
I can't see Gabe talking like that.
No.
I know Maddie's mad at him, but she's not going to talk like that. So, he's lumping everyone together over a disagreement with one or two of his kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you just went to the wedding of one of your kids.
Yeah.
That kid wanted you to be there and thought and asked you to be there. So that's one relationship.
And Mykelti is, she has Robyn coming to help her and be there for the birth. So it's not Mykelti. I don't think it's Truly or Isabel or you think
it's none of those younger kids. Yeah. I mean, I think that it is probably one or two kids who have very strong feelings and, are are not going to keep quiet. And again, in a group of people like that, you're going to get a couple kids like that. You're going to, everyone handles these things differently with their parents. Some kids have no complaints with their parents because, it was perfect or it was fine or it was good enough. But other kids, they have complaints because there are times that parents make mistakes. They make a lot of them. And you have to be able to, hear them and take it. And even though maybe some of the things that they're saying to you feels really unfair and not, like it's something that you couldn't help, you still need to be like, I hear you. I see you. That's painful. That's difficult. Right. Like he's getting very stuck in like, well, I couldn't help that. I couldn't do that. I couldn't change it. It's like, well, okay.
Just acknowledge it.
Acknowledge their pain.
Yeah.
Acknowledge it and acknowledge the fact that yes, it must be difficult for you to be in this plural family, that the challenges of it. That's really what they're talking about. Right. You guys have wanted to put this show together and really shove in our face all the positives of polygamy. Now these kids are sort of, or talking about some of the negatives and hear it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's not enough. Here's the thing. The reality is there's not enough of Kody to go around. There never was. His draconian rules during COVID did not help. We still don't know what that's all about. He made a mistake and he sort of kind of in this episode acknowledged that the COVID rules were a factor in this without really, fully taking responsibility. It's a lot of things, and when you have that many kids, some of them are going to be upset with you at any given moment in time. Yeah. That's just reality,
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, is like each kid is born with their own personality, and you might have a kid who has a different kind of personality than you do. And when you have 18 kids, you're going to have some that have a similar personality and, will sort of understand you and see you and get you. And then you're going to have kids with different personalities. And I think that's the thing is that parents think that those kids need to morph and change and mold into who, the parent wants them to be, but it's the other way around. You need to figure out how to reach that kid in that way. And I also think, because I talk a lot about generations and all this, I do also think that my guess would be that in Kody's family growing up, my guess would be that he probably had to kind of just deal with win and respect his father. And even if his father pissed him off or did something wrong, I think Kody now is sitting here going, well, that's not fair because I did all these things for my father. And I respected him and I was nice to him, even though I was mad at him. And that is a big complaint about the younger generations right now. And here's the thing is we're evolving in a good way. I'm sorry that it used to be that was the norm, but the norm now is a little different, that people speak up for themselves a lot more. Young people are speaking up for themselves a lot more and asking for more and wanting more. And that means that all of us Gen Xers are going to get we're shortchanged. Guess what? Welcome to the club. We have been ignored and shortchanged from day one. So that's just how it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, Kody has always wanted everyone to just bend to his will and go with the flow. I mean, this is a man who thought that if he built this great big house, that all of his children and their spouses and their families would just come back and live there forever and live on this property. When none of them, when they moved to Flagstaff, so many of them were already married, living on their own. He's a little bit of delusion of what year do you think this is?
Yeah, the world has changed. But it's that tit for tat thing that people get into. I see it all the time with these older generations when I go in and talk to them about embracing Gen Z. It's like they get very mad because they feel like, well, I wasn't allowed to do that. And I'm like, yeah, guess what? I got yelled at. I got all the same shit you got. Yeah. I'm sorry that life isn't fair. Who told you it was? It's just a little bit like, get over it. You're the adult. You're the adult, Kody. You're the parent.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyway, listening to him moan the whole time. I mean, this was
exhausting.
It was exhausting.
Especially the last part of it where he and Robyn are talking in the snow. My God.
Well, and I think this is part of the problem of why maybe Puddle Monkey needed to I understand they wanted to capture everything that was going on, but I think that I don't know if they have these strict schedules they have to adhere to for TLC, but it might have benefited them a little bit to have skipped all of this maybe and jumped ahead, because the problem is that we've seen Kody in the same attitude for about 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And because we've been stuck in the last 2 years, it's like we need to see the next step for Kody, because this is exhausting.
Has he evolved? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe he hasn't. I don't know. Maybe they're just like, there's no evolution. We got to just keep going.
I know. Yeah. Excuse my voice. I woke up with this weird, like, it's really hot here. If you hear fans,
yes, it is.
Excuse us. It is. It's 10 a.m. It's already 80 degrees. It's going to be like 95 degrees today.
Yes.
I slept with my window open because it was so hot. And now I'm feeling all like, I don't know, allergy central here. So
yes.
Apologize.
Well, in Northern California, we are not set up for any kind of extreme weather at all.
No,
we are not.
Well,
we are very, very delicate people.
Yes. Well, Tess just got air conditioning.
I know.
Got to experience yesterday. It was quite pleasant. I don't have air conditioning.
It was the best money. I swear to God, Steve and I yesterday were like, this was the best money we ever spent. Even if you, because we needed to do all these upgrades on our house. And so we took the money from other places. We're like, even if we can't retire, we'll be comfortable. This air because we are much poorer now. But, but I'm in my office / shed that does not have air.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like panicked. I'm like, we got to get all this out.
We gotta hurry up before we melt.
All right. We'll stop talking about the weather.
Let's get going.
Yes.
So this episode starts out at Mykelti's house. It's the after the first night, the babies have been home.
Do you think it's irresponsible for these people to let someone with a C-section go home the next day? Isn't there a minimum of 3 to 4 days? You were in the hospital you ended up being in the hospital for a full week with Layla.
Before and after, yeah.
Because it took 4 days for them to realize that Layla was huge and wasn't coming out. And then they finally gave you the C-section, and then you needed 3 or 4 days after that.
Well,
right?
I could have gone home. They wanted to monitor my blood pressure. They wanted to make sure my blood pressure got back to normal before they would discharge me, because I had high blood pressure in the weeks leading up and, during the birth and all that. So they had to wait for that. But I could have gone home after maybe not 1 night, 2 nights probably would have been more comfortable. I think I stayed 3 or 4 nights. It was like a long weekend. It was the Labor Day weekend. It was a long time.
Memorial Day,
sorry. But anyway, I feel like she could have used another night at the hospital.
Yeah, or at least some drugs or something. I mean, God, that sounds awful. Every time she shifted, like she couldn't get comfortable. She couldn't move her body.
And you try to sit up. She's trying to sit up so she can nurse, but it hurts.
It was awful.
It was like a very hard night, but Robyn was there. And, in this whole part of the episode, again, this really shows that things will be okay. Things can be okay if everyone would just calm down and just accept their new reality.
Yes,
This is a new reality. And, Robyn stayed and she slept with the babies when they needed to be nursed. She would take them to Mykelti. Now, Tony saying that she slept in the closet made it sound really weird, but it wasn't. They put like an air mattress or mattress down in this, like a walk-in closet.
Yeah.
And that to me she said it was more comfortable than the couch. And couches are not comfortable to sleep on. That looked way more comfortable than a couch. So I understand that. It's not weird. But that was very nice of her.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, I did not, having a night nurse. Every person I've ever talked to who had a night nurse said it was like the best money they ever spent. It was like very expensive, but worth every penny. And so that she essentially had a night nurse, which is, and for twins, that's huge, really nice. And I am glad that Christine was
gracious
about it, and that maybe she pushed past how she felt at the baby shower. I don't know if she was already getting it. I don't know if David was already in her life and she was kind of like,
oh, fuck it. It's fine.
I don't care anymore. But yeah, I mean, they were both, and that's the thing. There's common ground.
They were
you all love
to each other.
Yeah, you all want what's best for Mykelti, and you all love these grandchildren. So just, yeah, you guys can do this. And that's when I was sitting there going, maybe Kody's the problem.
Yes,
maybe Kody is the issue here.
When she's away from Kody, she's much better. Like this is the most normal and human I've ever seen her. When she was leaving and she was in the car and she was tearing, I mean, I think we actually saw her cry like some real tears.
Mm-hmm.
Kody is the problem. He's the one who puts this stuff in her head and is a negative energy force around her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is the best Robyn has ever looked.
Yeah. I felt relatable when she came out and said, "Oh, it's not a big deal. Oh, it's fine. I did this. Ha ha ha." Like, I was like, "Oh, I like this person. This person's very pleasant." And again, that's when I thought, "Oh, who's not here?"
Right,
Kody.
What's the common denominator?
Now, Brooke, was it triggering for you to hear about Avalon having a hard time?
Oh, being a little jealous of the babies. I don't know. I don't think that I was. I don't remember. I was jealous.
I think this is a different story because there's two babies. I think it's different, right? I mean, again, I don't know what it's like, but when you have one baby and then you have another parent for the other kid, right. I think Avalon was really like, I have no parents left. Right. Hello.
No one is paying attention to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is. And she's very young here. I mean, very young. So she doesn't understand.
Yeah.
Why she's not getting all the attention all of a sudden.
But I think it's great. See, and Christine recognizes that. And she's like, I think we have to love up on Avalon. Like, this is the positive of having all these parents. Like, then, all these other people can do that for Avalon while they're paying attention to the babies, or they can help the babies while they can pay attention to Avalon. Like, this is the benefits of it. And you're missing it, Kody, because so goddamn.
You could be here too.
Yeah.
You could be helping with Avalon. You could be taking care of Avalon while, everyone else is busy with the babies. But that would require you to be in the same room with Christine, which you're not capable of. So, you're missing out.
Yeah.
You're just punishing yourself. You're not punishing
you are.
Christine.
No, you're not punishing anybody.
No.
You're punishing poor Robyn. I feel bad for Robyn now. You're punishing Robyn and the children that you live with.
But Robyn was actually able to go and have a good time and be bonded and not feel like she has to choose sides. If Kody was there, she would have to, be loyal to Kody, and she couldn't let her guard down and just be, interact with Christine that way. She probably would feel awkward even talking. She and Christine were chatting like, Anyway, God. All right. So now Thanksgiving is in a week.
Yeah, the babies were born, I guess, the week before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so Robyn's going back for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, we get the 3 split screens. We get something new. They brought out the split screens, and we get 3 split screens of 3 Thanksgivings. One with Kody and Robyn and their mutual kids. One in Las Vegas with Janelle, and it looks like, I would assume, Logan and Hunter and Peyton and maybe the rest of her kids. We didn't see them. And then the 3rd Thanksgiving was in Salt Lake with Christine and Mykelti and the babies and the rest of her kids, Gwen and Bia and
Tony's family,
Isabel and
Aspen. Yeah,
I assume Truly. I'm sure I've missed a kid or something, but because Peyton Peyton lives in Utah, but he's probably he's sort of halfway between Vegas and Salt Lake.
I don't know.
That's why maybe he went to Vegas.
Yeah, he was in Las Vegas because he's with the bros.
Yes,
to bro out with Logan and Hunter,
and Mary has nowhere to go.
Well,
or Mary actually. And I'm with Mary on this. If I was Mary, I too would be alone.
No. Well, Robyn said that she invited her.
Uh-huh.
she said she invited her to Thanksgiving, and Mary's just like, no, thanks. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be a third wheel. And I don't blame her. Like, because Kody made that comment last year about how, well, if Mary's around, I can't be all, lovey-dovey with Robyn. And
Yeah,
Mary
I know.
heard that during the season. And she's like, well, okay, I don't want to get in your way.
Yeah. And then Kody goes into this whole thing about Mary. Like, he's like, well, I mean, I couldn't show affection to Robyn in Mary's presence, but Mary and I aren't close anymore. So, I wasn't going to be close to Mary. So it's like, why do you have to be close to someone on Thanksgiving? It's a meal. It's a meal. What, you have to touch a woman. You can't like be by yourself and eat your turkey. Like, calm down.
You can't be celibate for a few hours.
You can't not have, but it's almost kind of like you can't not have a woman to pay attention to you or to have to put, your affection towards for like a couple hours it's not even like a weekend. It's a meal. Like she lives in Flagstaff. She was going to go home after. Like, why?
Right.
Why do you need this so badly? It's just so weird.
Well, because
So
the truth of the matter is that Kody doesn't even like Mary. He's thankful that he finally, was so cold to her for so long that she finally got the hint and she finally left. And so,
she didn't get the hint. He told her. He directly told her, I do not want to be with you anymore. We are breaking up.
So she finally picked it up.
And so she heard that.
Finally.
And then she got it.
Right.
Yes.
She doesn't want to be with him. He doesn't want to be with her. So let's not pretend. You know? But then she ended up getting sick and I guess was in bed by herself. And then Robyn found out she was sick and she was like, oh, no, again, what are you going to do, Robyn?
Yeah. You're going to let the sick person come near your kids now? I mean,
or take her some leftovers. I don't know.
Yeah. My guess is I think this was like Mary's step one for Mary of like a release. Like, I think that this whole thing has been like an illness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder if she just got sick because her body was just like, blah,
Yeah.
But then there was this big discussion about Thanksgiving dinners and, we used to have 50 people and now we have far smaller. And, Kody is lamenting all of this. Janelle's happy. Janelle's like, I'm fine with this. I'm enjoying this. And I think that's the other part of it is you can see very clearly about how they're approaching things because, for Kody, everything's about this is how it was and I want that back. And Janelle is very much in this place of this is how it was and that was nice. This is how it is now. And I'm going to try to make this. This is nice too.
This is nice too. Yeah.
And this is a different kind of nice. And I'm going to embrace it. And that's the thing that Kody can't do, or Robyn too.
Yeah. Well, Kody is so stuck in the past and thinking, like that everything has to be the way it always has been. And, you see this with families a lot that, the traditions, and if you don't come home for this holiday and we don't have this, recipe and we don't do that, people get really, really tied to these things and don't want to let them go. And then that's really hard when their kids grow up and have their own families and then they put pressure on them like, oh, you got to come back and keep doing all this stuff. And it's like, that's just not reality.
Yeah. Well, what was this whole thing about? Kody says something about, Thanksgiving used to be safe. God, he just loves using the word safe and triggered. So he said that Thanksgiving used to be safe because there was mutual respect. 10 years ago, it was safe for him, but not for his wives, not because of him, but because of each other.
Oh, because they would have disagreements at these or not get along at these.
I have no idea. This is what he said. It was just a little bit like, wait a minute. Because it felt a little bit like he was kicking the ball around of blame.
Right.
Like, who's to blame? It's not him. So I'm going to kick it over here now. And so now Thanksgiving isn't right because we're not all together. And we're not all together because, is it now you're saying because it wasn't safe? Safe for who? Safe for each other? It kind of felt to me like, hey, I was fine with Thanksgiving 10 years ago. It was these women that weren't happy and they weren't happy with each other. And I'm like, who says who?
Yeah, we saw them all work together to do that big Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what was going on behind the scenes. But, when Kody says it's not safe, that's code for I don't want to go around any of these people because someone might call me out.
Mm-hmm.
Someone might confront me. Someone might, disrespect me and say something to me and trigger me. So he doesn't want to go anywhere where there's a remote possibility of that happening.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he stays in his little bubble with Robyn and her kids, because that's safe. He knows no one's going to call him out there.
Oh, God, no.
Everyone's going to.
No one's not allowed to have an opinion there.
No, I mean, they're just a tight little bubble.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if those kids get to decide dark meat, light meat. I mean, do you get to make those kind of decisions? Sweet potatoes, regular potatoes? I don't know.
Well, he did offer. Yeah, he was, offer the drumstick to
Ariella. And then Mary. So Mary says she's going to be going at it alone, and she hasn't told Janelle or Christine what's going on, because she doesn't feel like she has to or needs to. So
yeah, and Christine even says something about how she has no idea what's going on with Mary. She hasn't talked to her. She hasn't heard anything. She doesn't know. It's like, wow, this is really telling.
Yeah. And then we get the infamous scene. We get the black screen that says, before cameras arrived, Kody and Robyn got into, I don't think they said big fight.
They said heated exchange.
And Kody, before it escalates, had to go for a drive. And
this was the longest, most draining scene. It was almost all the whole episode.
It was a big chunk of it.
At least half of it.
But the argument really is about Robyn upset that Kody isn't reaching out to his kids. That's the big argument. But this whole thing, we were talking about this a little bit before we started recording, because even I am such a, I don't know, is it Pollyanna? I am so like, no, people wouldn't lie and make stuff up. No, they wouldn't. But even I, at the beginning of the scene, felt like it was very staged, very much like, because he comes barreling in the car, parks, she comes running down, and it was like, okay, yet again, we have to do this outside.
Yeah.
We can't come in your home.
God forbid it's freezing. You guys, it's very obviously cold.
So if this is quote unquote supposed to be real life, you probably wouldn't have this conversation outside in the freezing cold. You would do it in your home, I would think. But it felt very forced and very fake, as if the two of them, I felt like they both had an agenda of what they wanted us to hear. But I think somewhere midway through the fight in this conversation, I think things started to get a little real. I do, because I think the two of them forgot about what their agenda was, and then they're having this argument. Psych Legal Pop, we'll be back after these messages.
Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Hannah Berner from Giggly Squad. Have you ever put on a bra that makes you feel like a goddess? Prepare to be obsessed with the Dream Angels Wicked Bra from Victoria's Secret, the iconic brand behind the world's most comfortable bras. And I only wear the most comfortable bras. The bestseller features an innovative sling for perfect lift without padding, and the fit is chef's kiss. Awaken your inner goddess with new colors and super femme lace embroidery. Find out why this bra has thousands of 5-star reviews and counting. Shop it in stores and online at victoriassecret.com.
Yeah, and it wasn't really an argument per se. It was more like you said, I mean, they each had points they wanted to get out. Robyn wanted to look like she's just moving heaven and earth to try to help Kody, make peace with his kids and to reach out to his kids. And then on the other hand, Cody's message is, I've tried to reach out and I've been met with all of this, and betrayal. They've betrayed me. I tried to reach out to them. This person told me to fuck off, and doesn't want to be. It's not my fault. I've tried. And I'm not guilty of anything except, not being madly in love with their mothers. He keeps talking about he's being punished and he's not guilty, a crime he didn't commit. He keeps using this phrase over and over again. So they each have an agenda to rehabilitate themselves.
Well, and I think Robyn also wanted us to know about her bio dad. I think she wanted us to know that she knows what's, she's been through this, knows what it's like. I think they both wanted to know that. But the best is, I don't know if Kody says this in like a confessional, but he says, I'm not going to have a rift with Robyn caused by these people who have created the biggest rift in my life.
Yeah.
So basically now he's blaming the kids and these other wives for the fact that Robyn's upset. And it's like, well, no, she's mad at you.
Right.
It's your actions. It's your actions she's talking about. And that's the part he doesn't get. She keeps, because I'm with her on a lot of the stuff she was saying to him. And it was like, you really just don't get this. You really cannot see this at all.
Yeah, and he keeps talking about these people. You mean your children?
Mm-hmm.
He's so detached from, I guess it's just a coping mechanism because, he's hurt. The reality is he's very hurt. And he's coping with it by
and he's blaming the divorces. Like he's basically saying that the divorces happened and then the divorces triggered kids coming out of like the woodwork and mad at him now about how they treated their mothers. And it was like, and I think he's really pointing at the Janelle situation. And it's like, well, no, all these things happen at the same time, right? Like these kids had been watching this and experienced this for years. COVID brought it to a head, that was their final straw. And that was Janelle's final straw, right? Like everybody hit their breaking point, yes, in that moment, but one isn't completely connected to the other. Those kids had those feelings before Janelle told you she didn't want to be with you anymore.
Right. And also he blames the wives for poisoning, the kids against him. Clearly. Yeah. He thinks that his kids feel this way in large part because of stuff their mothers have said to them. And again, no, these are adults. Like almost all of his children, Janelle's kids and Christine's kids, except for a couple, they're all adults. They don't just blindly, even if Janelle and Christine were trash talking him all the time, which I don't really think they are. They have lives and better things to do. These people can make up their own minds,
Yeah.
And they have.
Yeah. Because they've had their own experiences with you, right? Like they've experienced you. This isn't just you own later that the fight with the boys, you wanting to kick out the boys, that had nothing to do with Janelle and anything Janelle ever said to them about you and all of it.
He finally admits that like not going to Isabel's surgery and saying the boys should be kicked out was a mistake. Okay, well there's a little bit of progress. Okay. Again, neither one of those things was caused by Christine or Janelle. Christine wanted you to come to the surgery. Janelle wanted to try to, support her children and
well, and then he gets into this whole thing about Maddie and the wedding. He said after the wedding, during the wedding, everyone's trash talking him. I guess apparently at the wedding, Maddie's kids were going to run up to Kody, or Maddie was.
They don't even know who he is.
Yeah. Ushering the kids away from Kody. So I guess while, I guess Maddie didn't have any interaction with him.
Yeah. He said he didn't even know she was pregnant. She wouldn't let him talk to her kids. The last time he saw Evie was when she was born, when she was a baby. She doesn't even know who he is. So it's not like Maddie is stopping her kids from, oh, there's grandpa. Oh, no, no, no. They don't even know who this guy is.
And that's what Janelle was explaining. She was just like, listen, she's not okay with you popping in and out of this kid's life. And that's not okay. Which, interesting, is the same issue Robyn has with her bio dad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, like this is
what a shocker.
Idea.
That maybe that, and we see how Robyn is today with having this bio dad that pops in and out of her life. And now she's, it's affected her entire life. And so maybe, Maddie wants to protect her children from that. She doesn't want her children to go through that.
But Kody, as usual, is blaming Maddie for moving her children to another coast when he has work and a life in Flagstaff.
Well, he was saying she moved everything. And so how could she possibly be mad at me for not visiting all the time? And it's a little bit like, well, Janelle seems to make it out there a lot.
Right.
And I know you have another family. I understand, quote unquote, you have another family. He's like, work? What work? Doing your cameos? You can do those anywhere. I mean, that's the other part of it too, is I think the other layer of all of this is something that no one's speaking to, which is Kody doesn't really have a job. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's a little bit, if he had a 60-hour-a-week job, I think I'd give him a lot more empathy with some of this stuff of like, yeah, it would be really hard for you, but you could at least go out there once a year at the very least and call and FaceTime and some of those things. But you don't have a job. Like you have, like being a parent and being this father of this large family is kind of the only thing you have to do. That's it.
Yeah. And well, again, he expects everyone to come to him. He expects Maddie to schlep all these kids out to Flagstaff to see him and be with him. And again, that's just not how it works. He can afford to go visit his kids in other states at least once or twice a year or so, at least. I mean, if he has money to buy all that art and, do all this other stuff, then he can buy a plane ticket.
Or you can FaceTime.
Yeah.
This question, because I was just on this podcast called Bite Your Tongue. It's all for parents of adult kids. And they were asking me a bunch of questions. And one of the questions was about this same thing of like, you have grandchildren on the other coast. Like, I want to be close to them. And I'll say to these, the grandparents all the time, I'm like, physically visiting isn't the only way to be close to somebody. Right? Like, write them letters, send them cards. You don't have to spend money. It's time and effort. Get on a FaceTime, build a relationship with this child outside of the parent. But everyone is so focused on, you need to physically be here right now. It's like, you know what? We have all this technology now that makes it kind of easy for people to stay close. Yeah. So I whatever.
Yeah. Well, he's so stuck. He's so stuck. He's saying his kids are purposefully leaving him out of their lives to punish him for a crime he didn't commit, blah, blah, blah.
Because his only crime
is not being madly in love with their mothers. That's his only crime.
Yeah. One of the mothers that you're later in the season going to ask if she'll stick around. Janelle, right? Can we make it work? Well, you just said that you don't love her.
Right.
Who is it, Kody?
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. So,
but then he makes this big declaration about how the family was killed by gossip. And then Janelle comes in and she's like, Kody was the biggest gossip. He gossiped all the time. I think Janelle's really enjoying throwing Kody under the bus.
She really is. Yeah. She said that he would gossip all the time about Mary and Christine, but not Robyn. Didn't say anything about Robyn. Killed by gossip. Death by gossip.
Yes.
I mean, it's like, have you ever heard anything?
So his big thing was like, I'm going to love those children who will allow me to love them, which I'm going to tell you translates into, I will love the children that don't challenge me. I will love the children that love me unconditionally.
Right. No matter what I do or say.
Yeah.
And they'll do all the work and I'll just be here and they'll just have to, do all the work and they'll have to come around me because, I don't have time to go seek them out.
And I'm sure that's how it was with Wynn. I'm sure Wynn didn't come and visit him. I'm sure every time he had to go there with the kids. Again, okay.
When the kids were younger, he seemed to understand this a lot more. I feel like he did try to, make contact with each kid, try to have a relationship with each kid in whatever way. But it's like as soon as they become adults and he loses that control over them, it's like he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know. Because don't you think? I mean, I feel spread thin when they were little, but I feel like from just watching the shows, he was trying.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, and we can see very clearly the kids who are the most outspoken and direct and, the ones that, everyone's different. There are some people that are kind of like, yeah, that's my father, but I'm never going to say anything to him. And I'll just show up and smile. And right. Like, I think there are some of those kids in that family. I think there's some that are, on one end that are very direct with him. And then there's other kids that comply. And I think it's really about complying. I think it's about control and complying and not challenging him. He does not want his behavior being challenged at all. He does not want to hear anybody give him feedback or criticize him. Guess what, Kody? No one does. None of us do. We all want to be a bop through life and tell everybody else what they're doing wrong. And it's really hard to hear it. It's hard to hear. And and we get resistant with it. We push away. And then you kind of have to stop and, think about it for a while. And it's challenging, but that's life. Like it's about it's like learning how to be a better person, and you have to have feedback.
And even with Robyn, he's resistant to her telling him, this whole conversation, this half-hour conversation that we watched, she's telling him over and over and over again the same thing, and he's resisting and resisting and resisting. And ultimately, at the end of the conversation, he really hasn't taken all of this in.
No.
He says something to the effect of, well, I need some time. I need time to just grieve my grievances, and then maybe I'll think about, trying to reach out to my kids. She just wasted her breath.
Yeah. Yeah. And on this level, I really feel for her because it obviously is very painful. And to have to hear her, how her bio dad never bothering to take the time and effort to come and visit and, none of that stuff, like that's hard for her. And I do believe it's very real when she turned to him and said, I am losing respect for you. Like you're giving me the ick, Kody. Like I'm getting the ick from you. And as I learned on Love is Blind, once you get the ick, you don't go back.
Can't get rid of it.
You can't get rid of it. So that's the thing, is that she's starting to kind of like, ooh, ugh.
Yeah, he literally says that he's not abandoning his children. They have betrayed him.
Yes, they've betrayed him.
They have betrayed him. And, he says, one of them said he's a piece of trash. I don't know who that was. Maybe the same person who called him an asshole. I really want
to please start naming names.
Again, sadly, I think it's Garrison.
I do too.
That just really triggers me.
I know.
Oh God, this is what's happening? But before he dies, God, this is getting very dark.
It is getting very dark. It's going to get very dark because we're at Thanksgiving 2022.
It's been he died 6 months ago, so the beginning of
2024.
2024.
Okay, so we're like a year and a half out.
Yeah.
And I can't, and this is the other thing, this is the part of me that makes me have empathy for Kody and really feel for him, is I can't imagine how he feels now.
Yeah,
the guilt he must feel. I don't know if he could ever admit it. I hope he can. I hope he can own some of these feelings and some of his stuff. But this particular situation is the big reason why you need to keep trying with people. And yeah, they're going to push you away, and they might. But as long as they know that the door is open and that you're ready to listen when the door is open, that's all you can do. But that was the thing with the kids. You weren't letting the door be open. You keep saying that your door is open, Kody, but it's like, no, your door is open with conditions.
Right.
So, and then, but you know what? Right in the middle of this discussion, let's go over to Christine.
Christine has some news.
Oh, Christine is all giddy because she had her date with David. I have to say that photo that on the dating app of David, I think is super cute too. I think I would be like, ooh, he's cute.
He is an attractive man in the sense that it's not just physically. He has like a whatever his energy he gives off. You know, he gives off good energy, not like some people. Can you imagine Kody like on a dating site?
Oh,
like,
God,
what would I don't know. Like, basically, don't betray me. Like his tagline is going to be, "I don't stand for betrayal."
Yeah,
everything will be fine as long as you don't betray me. Oh God.
So yeah, we see, what is it? Christine's folding laundry and she's talking about this first date with David, and they just, they had breakfast and they just hit it off, and he has 8 kids and she told him she has 6 kids, but she hasn't told him about the polygamy, but I think he already knows.
I think he's probably Googled you. Or his daughter has told him.
Yes. But what did she say? She said, David is a man. She's not
a dude.
Not a dude or a guy. He's a man.
Wow.
Yeah. And so she's all giddy and excited. And, we all know where this ends up. Of course, Janelle is in a different headspace.
Janelle is tending to her garden. That doesn't even look like modern clip. I mean, I feel like that was when she lived in that rental house in Flagstaff. They really are pulling out some old footage to fill in.
Yeah.
Well, in these moments, because that's an old clip.
Because Janelle's like, listen, I'll film myself at Thanksgiving and I'll do these interviews, but that's it. Because we don't see her doing anything else. We really don't. We just see interviews with her.
And old clips of stuff.
Old clips. But she did say something because she said why she's not interested in dating, because Kody was a lot.
Mm-hmm. He was complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like a roller coaster, which ironically were Robyn's. Didn't she say that was Robyn's words for him?
Emotional roller coaster?
No, he just roller coaster.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I thought she said that Robyn described him that way, but yeah, that's what he is. He's a roller coaster.
Yeah, he's been a lot from day one. I mean, I think that's how it's always been. I think he's always been a lot, and I think he's always been up and down and difficult. And I think these women got like a small taste of him every few days, and that was enough for them.
Right.
And I think they were like what Janelle was saying. We were very committed to being one family, of making that one family work. And I think that commitment to that, coupled with the fact they didn't have to deal with him all the time, worked.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so she just wants to do her own thing, which I understand.
Yeah. And then we're back to the fight. And what did I do to deserve this? And I'll only have time for those kids so that it'll be nice to me. I mean, it's like, I wrote down, Kody is a baby. He's like a little baby man. He's just
repeating, he has said the same thing over and over and over. Didn't love your mother. That's what this is all about. Doesn't know where the hate for Robyn came from. He's not going to engage people in that. Again, that's why it's not safe to go around these people, because they might question him.
Well, I love the colluding. I love these words he's using. Colluding against me. And I'm thinking to myself, how is it that your kids talking to each other about you, how is that any different than what you're doing right now?
Right.
Like,
you're talking about them.
You're mad that you're claiming that Maddie's this gossip and that she's the one doing this. It's like, no, gossip's very different. Like, and on some level, families do gossip about each other. And if you want to call it gossip, it's that. I think it's just a little bit of, hey, do you see, you're a big family. People want to know what's going on with people, and they'll tell you.
When you're talking about your family dynamic or what's going on in your family or struggles, that's not gossip. Gossip is like, oh my God, I went out with Tess the other night. She got so wasted and she was up on dancing on the whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, that's more of like spreading gossip that doesn't need to be spread, right?
Like people
who needs to know that?
Our parents don't need to know that, you know. No, they're talking about their family relationships. That's gossip.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Robyn says to him, she says, have you been trying to communicate with them? Like she doesn't already know the answer. And he says, well, yeah, I've tried to, I've reached out to Maddie, to Gabe. And then he says, Hunter. And then he says, total contempt. I guess about Hunter. So again, Hunter could be in the running for calling him an asshole or saying you ruined my life or whatever he says. And yeah, he keeps going on about these people. What did I do to deserve this? What did I do wrong? Total betrayal, being fed lies from their mothers. I mean, just over and over and over.
Yeah.
All they have to do is pick up the phone and call me. Okay.
And I think the thing is that I think we're seeing something about Kody and Robyn's dynamic, which is, or maybe she doesn't understand this, because what Robyn's telling him is sort of half the equation. She keeps saying to him, you need to keep trying, you need to keep reaching out, all of that. But she's not saying to him the other part of it, which is, listen, pal, you got to put your ego and hurt aside for a second and try to see something from their point of view. Try. And I think she keeps bringing in her own relationship with her father to try to get him to see that. But she, I think, needs to be really blunt with him and say, listen, this is how your kid sees you, whether that is the truth or not. Right. So, okay, you got to work with that. Not how you want it to be, but how it is.
Right. Again, I don't think Kody really wants to talk to these kids because he doesn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Because in order to heal this rift, they are going to have to be able to say how they feel and say their piece. And he does not want to hear that. Nope. He will only indulge if they call him up and say, gosh, Dad, I miss you so much. I'm sorry. Can we, start over and just sweep everything under the rug? That's the only way he's willing to go forward.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then pretty much the rest is just Kody admitting those 2 mistakes he made during COVID. And then just a lot of being triggered. Triggered. I'm triggered. Yeah. I'm worried about being triggered.
Yes. And he says he's lost his religion.
Yes.
Whatever that means.
He's lost his religion. He can't get on his knees and pray. He's heartbroken.
Yeah.
He is,
the collusion, yeah, and Robyn's saying, they're hurting. He needs to camp out on their doorstep, and he's like, I'm not camping on anyone's doorstep. And then he's like, I need space. This is how he ends this whole thing, is that he says, I have been so hurt by all of this, and I am so triggered. Yeah, he says he's so triggered. He's worried that if he talks to one of his kids, he'll be triggered by an accusation. double trigger. Okay.
Yes.
And he doesn't have the bandwidth for that.
Yes.
He's too bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of this hurt. Oh, and then they says all of this hurt has hurt us. Talking about him and Robyn more than it's hurt them. And Robyn's like, yeah, thank you for saying that. And he's like, I'm sitting here with the person I love most in this world, and my heart still is broken. I mean, the level of drama acting at the end of this, it was just what
he's like, remember, these were our final lines, Robyn. This is how we're supposed to wrap this up. Bring it home. Wrap it up. We got to get the scene. I'm freezing. My toes are frozen.
Yeah, it's time to wrap it up. I'm cold. My nose is running. I've
got 15 cameos to do. I gotta go.
Yeah. And so Robyn says, just promise me you'll keep trying just a little bit until you're ready. And he's like, okay, a little bit. And, Kody just doesn't seem to grasp any of this.
No. And I think it's hard to tell with Robyn if Robyn is like, okay, I have to keep, I think that it works with Robyn because she kind of really babies him and strokes his ego and does all of that because she needed to push him a bit more and she couldn't go that far. And she knew she couldn't go that far because she knew it would be a disaster.
Yeah. Now I wonder what it would take to get Robyn to leave. You know, I guess she doesn't, you can't compare it to Janelle and Christine because he's treated her so much better than he ever treated them.
Well, and financially, it's a very different situation, right? So she's the one, she doesn't work. So the other women all had jobs and worked in other sources of income outside of him. So she's very much tied to him, tied to the show, tied to all of it. So I think it would take a lot for her to go. And I don't know if she would go. I don't think she would go even if she was miserable. I'll be really honest. She still has 2 young kids. You know, the other women, they only had 1 kid left each that was a minor. Yeah.
So that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
You know?
So maybe 10 years from now, hopefully those older kids are out of the house by then and able to have their own lives. God. And Solomon and Ariella are, either teenagers or in college. Maybe she'll feel different. Maybe she will. But I don't think it's going to happen until those kids are grown. I really don't. Because I think where is she going to go? What is she going to do?
Yeah, I don't know.
And she's been through this once. She's done this once before. She does not want to have a second divorce. And she does not want to struggle the way she struggled before. So that's my 2 cents.
So what was it on the coming up scenes? I can't remember now.
Oh God, maybe I blocked it out. Christine's gone on another. Did Christine go on another date with David?
I think she went on another date with David.
And she's all
getting married.
Just so excited. Yeah.
God, I just watched this.
God, yeah.
I can't remember.
I can't even remember. I think the heat's getting to me here. All right. I think we need to wrap it up. Wrap it up before we melt. All right. Thank you.
Well, was there any, I was just going to say, was there anything?
Sister Wives gossip?
I saw one thing online about how Aurora and Brianna, and I think all the kids, Solomon, Ariella, I don't know about Dayton, they've joined some new church. It's like a Pentecostal type church. And I forget, I don't know if it was, I don't think it was it Without a Crystal Ball? I don't know. Take that with a grain of salt. But she posted what the tenets of this church are, and it's pretty strict.
Oh, geez.
Very kind of scary, strict. So,
well, they've already under this Robyn's rule. How they're already used to it.
Right.
They're already used to not having freedoms.
Indoctrination. Yeah. Because there was all this stuff about drinking and sex and, marriage and blah, blah, blah. And divorce is prohibited and blah. It was, okay. But yeah. So they love, Aurora is what? Probably 24, 23, 24. So, they love having her there at home. They don't want her to move. They don't want her to go anywhere. She's in this strict religion. Great. Keep her,
even better,
more tied down. So I don't know. I don't know if that's true, but I feel badly for her kids. Yeah. They deserve to leave home.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Maybe they don't want to. I don't know, but I don't think they know what they want because they've been so indoctrinated.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope they're happy. You know what I mean? It's a little bit like if they're indoctrinated and this is how they want to live their lives and it works for them. I hope they're happy with it. I really do. I hope they're happy with it. You know? I just want them to be happy. I want Dayton to get out of that goddamn trailer and, something.
Yeah. Well,
I don't get the sense that Ariella is going to go away quietly. Do you know what I mean? I don't think she's going to I find it hard I think she's going to resist. She's got that kind of personality. Mm-hmm. I think she's going to resist hard.
Yeah.
When she gets not now, but when she becomes a teenager, I think she's going to resist hard. That'll be season 25.
Yeah. But we won't be
the reckoning of Ariella.
Yeah. We won't be seeing it in real time, but it'll eventually.
Yes, we'll see it 5 years later.
Yeah, 5 years after her big rebellion.
Yes,
we'll see it on the show.
We'll see it on the show. And she just takes her binky and she just throws it down. Oh, this was the other thing too. Did you notice that all the women were talking about the kids taking binkies? Like, oh, do you think they'll take the binky? I'm like, do you want that?
Yeah.
I thought parents were always trying to not get their kids to take binkies. And I'm just telling you, the hospital, because my son was in NICU, they put the binky in his mouth and then he became addicted. I did not do that because I would not have done that. And he became an addict. And then at 2.5, we had to wean him off. And basically,
well, it wasn't really a weaning.
No, we just took it away. The binky fairy case. Someone suggested to us, do the binky fairy, and you take the binkies away, and the fairy, and he had gifts, and he identified what he wanted. He's like, I'd like this. We gave him we bribed him essentially, like, for your pain. Here you go, kid. And basically took the binkies away. And then when Max was like 6, I think I kept one binky as a souvenir, and he saw it and he's like, oh, my binky. Oh, my binky. But I was really surprised. I mean, after all the problems you're having with Ariella and getting rid of this thing, why are you shoving that in their throats? Like, what are you doing? But I understand that parents, they, like a lot of people, right, they don't want their kids to suck their thumb, so it prevents that. But I feel like if they're going to have some kind of oral fixation, it's going to happen. Like Layla never had. She never had a binky, and she never sucked her thumb or any of that kind of stuff.
No. Well, I mean,
she's like, I don't need this shit.
I don't need this shit. I've got everything I want here. Everyone's paying attention to me. I'm always being held. I'm always being cared for. What do I have to complain about? So,
yeah.
All
right. I'm going to wrap it up.
Okay.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. If you would like to support this podcast, there's different ways to do that. You can write us a 5-star rating and review. Those really do help us and help people finding the show. You can subscribe so that you always get all of our episodes. You can spread the word and tell a friend or two about our show. And if you want even more of us, then you can go check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/PsychLegalPodcast, where we do a weekly bonus. We got a true crime. We got an Ask Us Anything. So come join us over there for more content. And yeah, we'll see you all next time. We're doing Love is Blind right now on Thursdays. So if you are a fan of that show, check out our Thursday show, Love is Blind. All right. See you next time.
Bye.
Hi, this is Hannah Berner from Giggly Squad. Have you ever put on a bra that makes you feel like a goddess? Prepare to be obsessed with the Dream Angels Wicked Bra from Victoria's Secret, the iconic brand behind the world's most comfortable bras. And I only wear the most comfortable bras. The bestseller features an innovative sling for perfect lift without padding, and the fit is chef's kiss. Awaken your inner goddess with new colors and super femme lace embroidery. Find out why this bra has thousands of 5-star reviews and counting. Shop it in stores and online at victoriasecret.com.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a cool, refreshing mountain dew. So give me my good friends, give me a dew.
Grab some friends and an ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.